To make a long story short, my husband had a ONS. The problem, other than the obvious one, is that the AP is my dad's girlfriend's daughter. We met the girlfriend's grown-up kids, going to call them Jack and Jill, that day at a winery, and went back to the girlfriend's house. My dad and her go to sleep, and the kids stay up drinking. I go to sleep, Jack goes to sleep, and Jill and WS pair off. He told me a couple weeks later. I was obviously upset, but we both knew that we wanted to stay together, and we're working through it. You know what's bothering me now, though? I thought Jill and I were going to be friends. We had talked all night, exchanged numbers, she connected with my kids, etc. I'm so mad that this relationship has been ruined by their stupidity. This is the first serious relationship my dad has had since my parents divorced earlier this year, and now my potential stepsister is the other woman. How the duck can we be friends now? If our parents get married, that's going to be awkward as hell. Just venting my frustration. Some background: my sis and I grew up in an offensive house. The mistreatment came from my stepmother, who was her actual mother. Stepmom homeschooled us to avoid more people detecting the mistreatment. She wasn't actually teaching sis and me crap, she was just mistreating us. I got out when I was 18. I had a really tough time after I left home. I didn't know anything about the outside world, but I found jobs and eventually made friends and even got married and had a little boy. When she turned 18, sis followed me out. She is 9 years younger than me and even more damaged by her mother than I am. I was homeschooled for 6 years, but halfway through what should have been my high school years she decided she was sick of me in the house and enrolled me as a freshman in high school. Sis was homeschooled her entire school life. I and my husband took her in. I had been dreaming of helping her escape stepmom for years, but I can't fix a lot of what is wrong with her. Sis can barely even read. She doesn't know half of what a normal grown-up person should know. She has a crippling fear of leaving the house. Once she got the hang of the internet, she has kind of gotten dependent to games and Facebook. To be fair, the same thing happened to me and I still struggle with it. We tried to put her in college, but she could not keep up and had to drop out. She's gotten jobs but ends up quitting all of them. Sis lived with us for 3 years. During that time my marriage deteriorated. My husband lost his job and got on unemployment. I had 2 jobs and was the only one working while sis watched my sons. A lot of crap went on, and my marriage was basically over for about a year before we called it quits. We were living with my husband's mother due to lack of money when my sister became pregnant. She was 5 months before she started to show and told me about it. She said it was a boy she had met at school before she dropped out. She said he moved back home to Florida and she didn't know his last name. I urged her to look for him to help pay child support, find out his family's medical history, give her kid a dad, etc., but she insisted she wanted to raise her baby by herself. My husband said we couldn't be living with his mom if my sister had a baby as well as our 2 kids. He went out and got a job. He found us an apartment. We were moving in 1 month. I was overjoyed. This was the most initiative he'd shown in nearly a year. Then he started talking to an old ex of his who had recently gotten a divorce. The talk was all on the phone, large amounts of it in front of me. I thought he was just helping her through a rough time, but the day before we were due to move into the new apartment, he told us he wasn't coming with us. He wanted a divorce so he could be with his ex. Sis and I moved into the apartment with my boys. We couldn't really afford it without my husband's job. Life was rough and got harder when she had the baby, so I urged her again to look for the father, and she reacted strangely. Some of the things she said did not match up with what she said before. I had an awful suspicion. Sis, it wasn't. Ex-husband, was it? She bolted. She ran from me and hid in a closet, cowering, like she thought I would attack her, like she thought I was stepmom. She has broken my heart into pieces and I just don't know what to do. I thought I was over losing my husband, but learning that he cheated on me with my sister has broken that wound open again too. I would never hit her, but I am so angry and I just can't stop crying. For almost 2 weeks now. I can barely function at work. I don't want to hold my niece/stepdaughter/whatever, and I don't want to look at my sister's face, but being that she doesn't have a job, she is always there at home. I want to tell my friends but I'm too ashamed. If I kick my sister out she will have nowhere to go but back to stepmom. I can't do that to her and my niece but I can't live with them either. I don't know what to do. TLDR just found out my sister betrayed me with my husband, should I kick her out? Edit I am sorry I have not replied more on this thread. I wrote it at McDonald's since we do not have internet at home. I have a laptop from Better Financial Times. I cannot stay long, so let me just say here that it has really helped me to see what everyone says about this and get an outside opinion. I am sorry about the title. A lot of people have corrected me but there doesn't seem to be a way to change it. Betrayed, like one person said, would have been a better word. The last few times I have dropped the kids off I haven't stayed to talk to my ex-husband at all. I don't know what to say to him. I think I should be angry and all I feel is pain. I do not feel ready to confront him, or to be able to say what I need to say when I do. I have been trying to have a friendly relationship with him for the sake of our boys. They need their father in their life. Or I thought they did, now I don't know. I still have feelings for him too, they come and go. Until I found out he is my niece's father I thought if he ever wanted to get back together and work on it I would, but now we never can. This is something I can never get over. I will try and help my sister more. Even when I wrote this I already knew I could not kick her out. She is more like my child than my sister. I cared for her from the time she was born until I left home, and leaving her behind was my biggest regret. I wish she could get a job, but now with the baby there would be no one to watch her, and my sister does childcare for my boys as well since I work 70+ hours a week. My ex-husband and his wife and his mother help care for the boys but not the baby. If she wants to acknowledge him as the father maybe that could change, but so far she does not, and if he did take advantage of her then I don't think it would be good for her too, and even if not I don't think it's good to force her and take away her choice like that since she needs to be more independent. Sis can be surprisingly stubborn about things she doesn't want to do, too, so I don't even know if I could make her sign something she doesn't want to sign. Besides all that, we got her 7 different jobs in the 3 years before the baby and none of them stuck. I don't have any friends left who might hire her or ask their manager to hire her. I would love to get her therapy, but all our money after rent goes to diapers, wipes, and formula. There is zero money left. All our food comes from EBT, WIC, and one of my jobs. I have bought 1 new undergarment in the past 8 months, and the kids some clothes at a yard sale, nothing else. The baby doesn't even have many clothes since she grew out of newborns. She just wears a diaper and we usually wrap her in blankets to go out. I get toilet paper, shampoo, toothpaste, and deodorant through friends and my ex-mother-in-law. I don't know if I will reply again, but thank you for everything. I will try and find out the truth of what happened. Sis already said she doesn't want to involve the police, and I don't either until I know what really happened. I don't want to falsely accuse my ex of anything, and I've never seen him be controlling like she describes. She never seemed scared of him or tried to avoid being alone with him at all when we lived together. Many times she would tease him, joke with him, or tickle him. They played WoW together. But if he did, I think we should involve police. But if she won't press charges, then there's nothing I can do on that either. I will go home and try and talk to her and get a straight answer. So I've never posted on here before, so please bear with me. Background: I was married on June 30th of 2018. My husband and I were together for 7 years before we got married. So D-Day for me was 31 days after my wedding. I woke up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. to the sounds of my husband and my sister screwing on my basement couch. I went down, interrupted them, and slapped my sister across the face and left. They were both very drunk and both have very little memory of what happened that night. I have never imagined something like this would ever happen. Never would I have thought my husband would ever be unfaithful, let alone with my sister. After this all happened, my husband was insanely sorry. He apologized so much and I chose to stay with him and work through it. We have 3 children, 10, 5 and 3 years old, and I felt I owed it to myself and my children to at least try. Things have been hard, but we are making progress. I'm definitely not over what happened, but I'm committed to moving forward with my marriage. As for my sister, I have not spoken to her since that night. She has reached out a few times, but I have no idea how to respond to her. She also is in a relationship, so she also cheated. She says she can't imagine a world where we don't talk and is begging me to speak to her. I don't know what to do. Not a day goes by that I don't think about D-Day. I can't imagine what a relationship with her would look like. It's not like our families can get together in any way. My sister and I were extremely close before this happened. We talked every day and spent weekends and holidays together. This was the first time in 35 years we didn't see or talk on birthdays or Christmas. Please help me.